welcome back. It is Manly taking on the Cronulla Sharks. It's going to be an absolute blockbuster. Let's start this one off with a joke. You've got a Manly side that a lot of them didn't want to wear a Pride jersey, and now mathematically they have a chance, but all they are playing for is Pride. So that's a bit of a joke to start this one off. Obviously, the team list for Manly is up on the board. And guys, please don't give me a dislike because of how bad my jokes are. I had to throw it in there. I saw it on Facebook. I thought it was hilarious. But moving on to the team list, obviously, Cooler shifts to the wing to replace Jason Starb, who has that ACL injury. Morgan Harper does return to the Sinners. Jake Trbojevic obviously had his hand injury picked up, so he is replaced by Dylan Walker with Ethan Bullimore added to the bench. Baxter, we've spoken off air, we've spoken on air about how much that jersey may have disrailed this Manly side. They're coming up against a red-hot firing Sharks fighting for a top four. You look at this team list, do you think they have a chance?
Mathematically, they do. As you touched on, they sit 6 points outside the 8 with a better for and against than Canberra, who are sitting 4 points above them. Look, I gave them a bit of hope in the previous pod, on the review, should I say, not knowing that Jakey Boy was going to be out. So I'm going to have to change how I think about this, but it is a good side. You could probably go back to that Pride jersey being the pinpoint moment where their run home to the finals blew off the rails, and I believe there is a bit of rift between the playing squad, and it's going to take a man and a miracle to sort of bring this squad together and hopefully sneak them into the 8 somehow. But if there are football gods, strike them down, because I don't want to see Manly in the finals.
All right, well, we'll move obviously on to the Sharks lineup. It's a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, Toby Rudolph, as we mentioned in the review show, does face a month on the sideline with a torn medial ligament. Brandon Hamlin-Uele does come into his starting lineup. Fafita joins the bench after missing round 22 for what was said was family reasons. Talakai obviously is still out with his shoulder injury, but Connor Tracy and obviously Matt Moylan are back. They're on deck. They're ready to bolster this back line. They are ready to push for a top 4. Again, a player that had a lot of promise at the Roosters, Ikavalu, does drop out of this side. So I guess I'll pose a few questions to you here. Are they too strong for this Manly side? And Ikavalu, he's known to be a try scorer when he does get his chance. Is this a player that someone with the likes of, let's say, the Titans, the Dragons, the Tigers, is this a player they should be looking at?
Maybe, if you get him for the right price. Obviously, that's a conversation between the player agent and the club. But yeah, this squad, it's strong. It's good under Craig Fitzgibbon, and don't be surprised if Mr. Fitzgibbon gets Coach of the Year in his rookie year, to be exact. So, look, this side wasn't travelling too good last year, but you bring a new coach who's had a wonderful and long apprenticeship under your man Trent Robertson, who is just a wealth of knowledge, and you just got to be a sponge and absorb as much as you can from that bloke. He's brought that sponge across with him to Cronulla, and he's just released it on all these 17 players, especially Nicho Hynes coming from the Melbourne Storm, who's another one he's absorbed all that knowledge and apprenticeship under Craig Bellamy there down at the Melbourne Storm, and he's brought another thing to the Cronulla Sharks, and this is great. This is good to see, and maybe they push hard deep into the finals, and maybe they be there come long weekend.
100%. This is a crazy squad, and like you did touch on, any person that's under the likes of Bellamy, that's under the likes of Robinson, they're going to turn into absolute superstars as coaches now. Obviously, Fitzy, I'm glad he's doing well. It kind of hurts a little to see him above the Roosters, but he is a living legend. So I'm I'm going to go Cronulla 13 plus. I think Nico Hines chucking Matt Moylan back in there is just way too much for a Manly side that between us, we both think there's a rift going on between that squad. But do you see this game going any different? Are you going to side with me on this one?
I'm backing you. 13 plus Sharks.
Well, there you go, guys. Obviously, the Sharks 13 plus. It will mathematically end Manly's season if that is the result. A big game coming up for the top 8 for one team. It is the Roosters taking on Tigers. We are going to jump onto that soon, but thank you for joining me again, Baxter, and we will be back very soon with that Roosters versus Tigers.